almost as big as my period 3 class. Members of the board, Redlands High School administration, counselors, faculty, and class of 2011. 203 years ago, I sat where you are with the graduating class of 1968. We were dedicated to the proposition that the Vietnam War should end, that there was a possibility that men and women were created equal, and that open campus was an idea conceived in student liberty for all at lunch. We were engaged in a great social revolution, testing whether the Civil Rights Act, the Berkeley free speech movement, and other liberal ideas could long endure. We met for the 75th commencement in June of 1968 to determine if this young idealistic group could graduate and make a difference to this nation. It was altogether fitting and proper for the school board and faculty to meet to consider our graduating status. We are again meeting tonight in the bowl to consider the graduating status of the class of 2011. This is a great task remaining before us, that the full measure of grading essays, beckoning good leadership skills, enduring common assessments, and collecting those all-important graduation units shall not have been in vain. That a school for the students, instructed by teachers and led by administration, shall not perish from its duties to instruct the future of the United States. Perhaps 38 years of teaching social studies has warped my view of the present. I'm here this evening to present the charge to the class. Thank you for this honor, because it is an honor to send you from Redlands High School, my alma mater. Like you, I leave Redlands High School this evening with one last official act. I've been on campus since 1964 at Redlands Junior High, so this is a big move for me. In fact, my classroom 425 is where I had Mr. Sertic in 9th grade, except the building didn't exist yet. I need to thank several teachers and administrators that have made a big impact on my family and I over the years. I thank George Sertic, my 9th grade world history teacher, for his lively, spirited teaching that inspired me to become a teacher. Ray Haight, my international relations teacher my senior year, for giving me an interest in the world at large. Paul Allen, my Valley College Latin American history teacher, for introducing me to local history. Incidentally, the bowl was built in 1930. That building back there is 1898, and it was a kindergarten. So you see, I have to always throw in local history in my instruction. That's a typical actuallyism. Dr. Gil Becker, University of Redlands, the most passionate teacher that ever existed. He combined history, anthropology, archaeology, and science into a package that have lived with me forever, ever since. The University of Redlands for providing me with the skills and strategies that I use every day. God, I don't usually cry in class, though. The community of Redlands parents that has entrusted me with your young teenagers that I have enjoyed thoroughly. It's kept me young. Downtown Redlands businesses for buying Hibachi ads and supporting journalism for the past 26 years. The hundreds of invited speakers to my world history, American government, and economics classes. Congressman Lewis, Mayor Bill Cunningham, John Harrison, Susan Pepler, Carol Beswick, Superintendent Lori Rhodes, Supervisor Barbara Cram Reardon, City Treasurer Mike Reynolds are among the hundreds that I've had and given of their time freely in my classroom. I'd also like to recognize some very admirable administrators. George Isaac at both Cope Junior High and Redlands High School, George Anderson, and our current principal, Christina Rivera. Those stats that she read off are because of her. I can guarantee you that. She supports the teachers. She makes sure the job gets done. She is a real principal. I have never wanted for secure classroom, behaved students, and secure campus. The Redlands Unified School District does a fine job of keeping my hobby from distractions. I thank you all. My family has been very much impacted by Redlands High. My daughter Becky is a second grade teacher in Redding, California, thanks to Cross-State's teaching program instructor Sharon Regalado. My son Brian is a mechanical engineer thanks to Paul DeVoe. physics teacher at Redlands High. My son Tommy, who's out there tonight, is an electrician thanks to the support of the school district, extra funding for combat dyslexia, and a caring special education department at Redlands High, but especially Annie Vasconcelos and Mary Frances Petit. I have a few apologies also. I want to beg forgiveness to all the administrators at Redlands High School for allowing freedom of press to flourish and for students to learn the power of the printed words. I've given them all gray hair. I believe this has led to gray hair additions to many administrators over the years. Hibachi and I apologize for the terrible inconvenience that the Bill of Rights imposed on all of us. My charge to the class of 2011 is fairly simple. Choose a career path that is both your hobby and your vocation. You don't want a job. I charge you to acquire an avocation that will bring you fulfillment and a passion to do it each day. That sounds simple, but it takes real planning. Opportunity usually doesn't fall into your lap. It has to be captured in a lifelong endeavor. I often use my life experiences in class to drum in concepts called actuallyisms, and so I will again tonight. I chose to become a history teacher because I love history. I must admit that I would do what I have done for free, although I will not give the money back. So all these years I've really been paid to conduct my hobby either 5 or 6 periods a day. Now driver training, on the other hand, anybody who's done that can tell you all kinds of stories, was a job for 12 years. I counted the minutes between freeway on-ramps, downtown left turns, parallel parking, and the sheer tear that only an unobservant sophomore can produce almost daily behind the wheel of a car. My purgatory has been here on earth those 12 years. Now that was a job, that was for extra money. The nice thing about teaching is that you get the summer off, to be unemployed. I chose to spend my time with the Forest Service at first, with the trail crew and road crew, horrible pick and shovel jobs. I maneuvered my way to become an interpretive naturalist. My education gave me this opportunity. They paid me to hike in the San Bernardino National Forest during the summer and become Ranger Rick. I talked about trees, water development, wildlife, conservation issues, which I love. I also developed programs on the history of the San Bernardino Mountains, go figure. Once again, I was paid to pursue my hobby, and this time by the federal government. Don't let anyone tell you that the government doesn't create jobs. So I charged the class of 2011 to find a career with hobby opportunities that leads to a passion for life. My generation has not left a bright legacy for your class, but think of it as a challenge. I hope you do something about the problems that my generation has created. Congress cut my taxes, and everybody else who's an adult here, this year, so you will owe more. $14 trillion national debt. California has a $25 billion deficit. City of Redlands has a budget deficit. Unemployment is 14% in this county. 2 wars in the Middle East, and with one in Afghanistan still raging. An immigration issue that is not resolved. A more expensive college education awaits you. All of this is my gift to you. On the other hand, your diploma tonight gets the nation closer to solving the problems I mentioned. Go out there and change the world for the better, because obviously my generation sort of screwed it up. Now there's one thing that I request before leaving the podium. It's a short podium, I noticed too. You need to thank your parents or guardians that are really responsible for your being here tonight. So on the count of 3, would you do something for me? Stand up, turn around, and say